Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm. Thank you for pushing play on another episode. If I sound a little bit scratchy today, it's just because I've been a little bit under the weather and I had the last 2 days kind of off work. I wasn't seeing my clients, but I did maybe 3 things on social media on that time. I've just been allowing myself to rest and recover. So I want to begin this episode today by also saying thank you to Matt for becoming the very first patron of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. It has meant so much to me. And Matt, I did jump into the patron section of the podcast to reply to your beautiful comment, but it went up as a comment of its own instead of replying to you. So that's there if you want to go and have a look at it. But thank you so much. Okay, so what I want to talk with you about today is selling. And wait, before you click out, I'm going to help you. Don't worry. Why has this come up? I'll tell you why. This comes up because one of the things that I work with people in the ACPPO and Counselors Connect group, my clients, is marketing. And do you know what? You've heard me say it so many times before. You can have all the strategy in the world, but if it doesn't align with your values, you will not implement it and you will not see results. And this happened recently. Okay, so probably about maybe 4 or 5 times a week, I get requests. People purchase a service that I've got where I go in and assess their websites. And I give them feedback based on all my education and my qualifications and my experience on client attraction. And it is amazing to see websites, sort of before and after. I love it so much. But anyway, sometimes people come back and they say, oh, I'm not feeling really comfortable about this. I'm not feeling really comfortable about that. And I thought, you know what? If you're really wanting to call in clients, you need to get comfortable with selling. And here's why. If you're not selling, you don't have a business, all right? It's that simple. So when you receive feedback about how to improve your website so that you can attract the inquiries, it doesn't help you and it doesn't help your practice if you then reject that feedback and say, do you know what? It feels icky for me to sell things. Now, this came up recently with someone who I had suggested putting a booking button on the very, we call it above the fold, before you start scrolling down. I suggested that they have a booking button right slap bang in the center of the page, right there, so that clients can see it or potential clients can see it, and they can either make an inquiry or they can book in. Super easy, right? But this person had an issue with that because they felt, oh, that's selling and that's really icky. No, it's not selling. It's just 2 buttons. It's 2 invitations. It's saying to potential clients, hey, here you go. You can either click this button here and we can have a chat about it. Or if you're ready to bite the bullet and do it, here's how you do that. You just take. So they're invitations, I feel. This is how I see it. Invitations. You're giving people a couple of options of what to do. So the other thing that they were uncomfortable with was the idea of giving away something in exchange for an email. And by this, I mean, if you jump into my website, for example, because of course I test everything and I practice what I preach. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it, right? So if you jump into my website, which I know so many of you have, thank you very much, you will see in there the very first thing that happens is the website loads and then there's a little pop-up inviting you to do something. Now, this changes from month to month. So some months it's inviting people to get help with a problem. Some months it's inviting them to download a PDF that I've made them. Other months it's been, access this free, on-demand video training webinar type thing. So it changes all the time. And of course, because I'm in business, it does not make sense for my business to just give stuff away out into the ether. What you want to do with your business hat on, this is what we were talking about last episode, the difference between an employee mindset and a business mindset, is when it comes to your business, you absolutely need to be creating turnover to stay in business. And one of the ways that we do that is by looking after our clients. And how do we look after clients that we don't have any way of keeping in contact with them? So what we do is we have, it's called a little pop-up, So as I was just explaining, I think my current pop-up is to access a free training or something like that. If they want to access that free training, amazing, they can. They just type in their email address, and then once they hit submit on that, they then get either, if I've set up a workflow, they will instantly get an email into their inbox with the details on how to access whatever it is they've just purchased, or they'll get an email with the link to Dropbox or something like that. And then what happens is a little while later, they might get another email to say, how did you go with that? Where are you struggling? And things like that. I believe in connection. And for me, having a back and forth connection with people I've never met before, but who are using my products, helps me to help them more. Versus if I never knew who was getting my products and who was interested. Once people are downloading things and I'm able to give them things by email, I can always then invite them into a conversation by saying, a couple of days later, hey, have you had a chance to watch a webinar? How did it go? Do you have any questions? Is there something more I can do to help you with this challenge or with this issue? Did you know that I have free resources? You can click here and go and get the free resources. You can join the Counsellors Connect group over here if you're a psych or social worker or counsellor and you're interested in networking and having a bit of a notice board. Or I can say, if you're looking at private practice, did you know there's this other free community over here? And did you know I've got this free thing? So by me inviting them to download the tool or whatever it is, and by them saying, yeah, sure, here's where you send it. Do you see how we get to start helping potential clients more? And this is what we want to do. We're not selling them anything, but we're getting them familiar with us. We're getting them familiar with our style. And so if they don't like your style, guess what? They're going to unsubscribe. And it happens all the time. Trust me, people opt out all the time because they know that they can. They know if they get an email list. They know if they get an email and it's off a list and they're using their, I don't know, for me, I use iCloud. So if they're getting emails from my list from MailChimp, it says up the top, hey, this email's from a list. Do you want to unsubscribe? People can easily tap that unsubscribe button. It's no big deal. And guess what? I don't get offended. I don't cry. I don't feel like nobody loves me. I feel like, do you know what? This person wasn't the right fit for the way that I help people at the moment. And that's okay because I know now that they're one step closer to finding the person they will be a fit with. And that's a good outcome. If they decide to stay on my email list and they start replying to my emails, then this is amazing because this is what I want. I want that engagement because I want to be able to get a deeper understanding of what's going on for them, so that I can support them with things. Now, in private practice, what this looks like with clients, for example, if you have a download, let's say it's a 3-minute audio meditation that they can listen to when they're on their way to work, or when maybe they've driven to work and they're a bit anxious about going into the building, and you give them this 3-minute meditation that they can listen to in the car before they get out, right? So they can kind of get themselves nice and centered and calm down and grounded and get their nerves under control before they get out of the vehicle and walk over to the building. Now, if you offer them that and they say, yeah, actually, that would be amazing. I want that. Here's where to send it. They give you the email address. Fantastic. Why not follow up with them? And you can set it up automatically to make your business life easier. But you just set it up in your email. Like, as I said, I use MailChimp, but there's Active Campaign, Infusionsoft and ConvertKit. They're just a few. I think Flowdesk do emails as well. Whoever you're using, you just set up an automation there to contact that person a week later with a little follow-up email that just says, hey, how did you go? Was it really helpful? Like, what situation did you need it for? How would you rate it out of 10? Like, how effective was it? Do you know what I mean? Like, be curious. You are in the business of building relationships. And so many of you already use social media to do that. Email's just a different form of social media, right? So, and it's direct, it's private, it's just between you and that person, which really helps that person feel, I want to say safe and secure, but I think there's just this understanding that it's between you two. It's not them sharing in a big public forum about how your meditation helped them, or where they're still needing help. But you can ask those questions and say, you know, if it helped you, where are you still needing some help? What's next for you? And invite them to say, actually, yeah, it was really helpful, but I still felt a bit nervous. You can offer them something else. It doesn't matter, but you get that relationship starting to build, okay? And who knows, down the track, that person might become a client. It's hoped that if they need your help, of course they're going to work with you rather than jump onto Psychology Today and work with somebody they've never heard of before. Of course we want to support that person. You are in the business of creating impact by helping people. So it makes no sense that you would see giving somebody a resource in exchange for an email as icky. That doesn't make any sense at all. And here's the thing, if you're running your business with a mindset that selling is icky, you're going to struggle in business. Here's the other thing to consider. Every time a client books an appointment with you, you sold a place in your calendar. Every time somebody hits pay now, you sold something in your business. Whether they pay a booking deposit, that's a sale. Whether they paid the full amount, that's a sale. Whether they bought a report, that's a sale. You are already selling. So why are you telling yourself selling's icky? I think this mindset is probably holding you back from being able to help more people in your private practice. I want you to understand there is a difference between that employee mindset that we were talking about before that says, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, versus the person who's running a business, because the employee has no financial investment, has no obligations in terms of running the business, compared to the practice director, the practice CEO, the practice owner, who bears the weight of every single obligation. That practice owner is responsible for paying the lease, is responsible for paying the Facebook ads, is responsible for paying for the software. Regardless, like, that employee could leave, but that doesn't mean that the owner has to stop paying their bills. So that's the difference. When you have an awareness of your role as the private practice owner, all of this stuff suddenly makes a whole lot of sense. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to really think about, you can use this as a journal prompt, but what do I believe about selling in private practice? What do I believe? And just brainstorm everything. Maybe set a timer for 2 minutes and just get it all out of your system and write down everything that you believe about selling. And then I want you to really look at evaluating that list and saying, how on earth are these beliefs showing up in my business now? Well, I'm not as visible as I could be or should be or would like to be. I'm not booking the clients. I'm not converting inquiries to bookings at the rate that my business needs them to be happening. I'm undercharging. and over serving. Do you know what I mean? Identify all those different ways. And then the next journal prompt would be something like, if I didn't have this belief, if I were able to release this belief, what would be different for me in my business? Okay, in my business. And you might come up with things like, well, you know what, I would be doing A, B, C, D, E. Just see what the contrast would be and have a look at it and then think, well, where do I really want this business to be? And you're probably going to want it to be congruent with the answers that you got on the second journal prompt there. And then it's just a matter of saying, well, what's one thing I can do today to start the process of embodying that version of me that's going to connect with people. People aren't going to work with you if they're not paying, and in order for them to pay, you have to sell them something. When you put a profile on Psychology Today, that's selling. The other thing is very interesting as well. It's when people ask for help with their website, I give them the best knowledge that I've got based on my experience, based on what's working for others. Now get the feedback and they'll say, do you know what? Thanks so much, Brooklyn, but I'm not going to implement any of it. When that happens, okay, what that tells me is we've got a values conflict going on here, which means it's beyond strategy. This is something that's going on for the person. When you have a values conflict, it's a sign that you're being given the solution over here, but your belief is over there. They're at opposite ends of the same stick, really. So what you want to do is look at how many ways can doing this activity, like updating your website or updating your About Me section or rewording your Psychology Today profile or whatever it is, how many ways can doing that help you get more of this value? Yep. That's a simple way that you can work through that. What else did I want to share with you just quickly? Oh, yeah. I wanted to say too, the way that you write is super important. Now, this is something that happens a lot as well, and this will affect your selling. This will affect the number of people that make inquiries, or it will impact the level of connection or connectedness that potential clients experience with you. And it's something so simple. Well, actually, there are two things. The first thing is writing about yourself in the third person. When you do that, I don't know why people do this. I don't know why counselors and psychologists and social workers do this. It's like writing in the third person would be if you visited my website that I created, that's all about me, and it says, Brooklyn is a caring and compassionate, private practice coach. Brooklyn was trained at Monash University. Brooklyn has lived. When Brooklyn isn't, it's weird. It's so weird. And all it does from an energetic and spiritual perspective is it puts an invisible wall up between you and your client, because it's saying to the client, keep your distance. I'm over here, you're over there. Versus something little, a very small change in how you approach your text, and you say something like, I was trained here. I have a fur baby. I live on the Mornington Peninsula. Okay, be mindful of your language. You want to connect. If you want people making more inquiries, connect with them. Stop talking about yourself in the third person. It makes no sense. It's just weird, especially when you're a sole practitioner in private practice. I just don't get it. And the other thing that is a little bit weird as well is when sole practitioners are writing on their website, we. At ABC Psychology, we believe like this, and contact us today. I don't understand why you would do that. I don't understand what your intention is behind that messaging. Again, it's just kind of weird when we go to meet the team and it's just you. It's confusing, and I'm not going to book in with somebody that's got this kind of mixed messaging on the website. So when it comes to selling, the first step of selling is making those really powerful connections with people so that they feel aligned with you. Now, nobody's going to feel aligned with you if you're talking about yourself in the third person and referring to yourself as us and we when it's only you. Come on, you are in the business of making those deep and powerful connections. So why are you making everything so cold and formal on your website? Be the beautiful, amazing, connected soul that you are on your website, that you are in real life. Okay. Now, just an aside, but hey, get this. This is totally off topic, but I had to share it with you before I finish up. You're going to love this. I'm just in my email now trying to find it. So if you hear some clicking, it's just me doing a quick search. Psychology Today. Okay, so I got this email. You won't believe it. I got this email from Psychology Today, and I got this while I was off sick. So I think it came through when we got it, the 21st, whenever that was, on Monday. This email is from Endemol Shine Australia. Now, when I saw that in the subject line, I thought to myself, I know that phrase Endemol Shine. And because I happen to be watching maths at the moment, purely because, I would just find it fascinating, everything that goes on there. But anyway, I thought, that sounds like a TV company. So then I was Googling Endemol Shine. Sure enough, TV company. And then I thought, why would a TV company be emailing me? So I clicked on the email, opened it up. This is what it says. Dear Brooklyn, I hope this email finds you well. My name is such and such, and I'm a casting producer at Endemol Shine Australia. We're currently casting a brand new series, which is the ultimate game of strategy and deception. We are looking for fantastic people to use charm and use their powers of persuasion to carry themselves to the finish line. With a life-changing prize on the line, this is an opportunity that you won't want to miss. If you would like to find out more information, please book a call with me so that we can get you in for the show. Thank you so much from Now, I want to know, what do you think? Should we do it or not? Should we make the call? Should we make the call and find out more? Let me know. Part of me is saying, wow, this is really interesting. Maybe this could be an opportunity. The other part of me is saying, no, it might be unethical. The other part of me is saying, but how much fun to be, invited and for a TV company to reach out. But there's an even bigger part of me that wants to share something else with you. And this is for all my people that love intention setting and value the role of it when it comes to private practice. So a little while ago, I was doing some intention setting, and maybe it was about, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I have this book, and it teaches intention setting in a different way. It uses a lot of, how I traveled all around the world and I learned all different processes of manifesting and different beliefs and cultures and all that sort of stuff. So this builds on some ancient tools, and it's all in Hebrew. And so I'm teaching myself how to read and write Hebrew and everything in my spare time so that I can understand this text. But anyway, I was able to do that, and I ended up using, so this book's got heaps of different exercises in it for all different things. And I did one that said, it set the intention of being seen as important by a person of influence. Yeah, this must be about 4 weeks ago, because I remember talking about it with one of my mentoring clients. It was so interesting. She's into this stuff too. And anyway, so I did the activity, which was just setting the intention and then letting it go. So I did that, and I think I did it maybe twice in that 4 weeks, and I just let it go and stop thinking about it. And I'm just wondering if this is the manifestation of that, because how many times in your life do you get reached out to by TV company inviting you to, come and have a chat to be on a contestant on the show? So I don't know. If that's what's happened, the other thing that I'm thinking is that maybe I wasn't spot on and specific enough with my intention, because I kind of got there, but not really, because it's not really what I was going for. I mean, this is the other thing, right? When you set an intention, you have to be so specific, and maybe I wasn't specific enough, because I certainly didn't say about being on TV on a show, about, everything I just read to you. So maybe when I do this exercise again, I could be a little bit more specific with my intention and just see what comes of that. A very, very interesting, right? So much fun. Your words have power. And it comes back to that whole idea of frequency as well, which we've already discussed at nauseum before in the podcast, but I love it so much. But for those of you who are new to the idea of frequency, it's as if we are all little antenna, and all the time we are sending out a frequency. Kind of like how if you tune in the digital radio or the old analog radio, you have to tune it in just right to be able to hear the music. When you hear my voice on this podcast, you are hearing a frequency. Okay, when you see all the world around you, those colors come to you in frequencies, right? Everything we hear, sound waves, right? All frequency. And so just like you tune in to a radio station or you tune into a TV station, you tune into what's possible for you, and you start to embody that the more that you do it. This was going somewhere. I've just forgotten where I was going. That's so not like me, is it? So all I was going to say was you need to be so specific with your intention setting. And when it comes to private practice, maybe you want to look at the intention that you set before you write your copy for your website, before you create the PDF, before you write your email sequences, before you go and have your meet and greet with the doctors that you're working with. Set a very clear, specific intention and do not worry about the how, okay? The universe is going to make things show up for you in very random ways. That's why we say don't worry about the how. Just like here in this example, this is what I was going to say. In this example, I had an intention of being seen as important being seen as valuable by someone of importance. And then this is what the universe has brought me back. But now I understand I can tweak that a little bit. So I never went out contacting TV companies, right? This is what I mean. You just have to let the universe do its thing. You don't worry about the how. And I think in private practice, this is where we get tripped up a lot of the time, because we think we must be doing more, we must be hustling more, we must be working more, and we think this stuff when it's a quiet period in the business. Our default often is to do more. Our default is to fill the diary more with activities like post it on social media or this, that, or the other. So don't worry about how things are going to come to you. Trust that they will. Take the right aligned action for you at the time, and that will help you call in more of the right clients every single time. Okay. So what we've discussed today really is about, this idea of selling is icky. You have to understand, if you're in private practice, you're already selling. So holding on to the idea that it's icky, that's kind of counterproductive. It's not helping you fill your diary. It's not helping you with your turnover. And do you know what? If you feel uncomfortable talking about the business side of private practice, maybe we need to have a chat, because it's my job to help you be successful. And if you're sabotaging yourself by these beliefs, get help. Help is here. I have free half-hour calls. Come and get a hand with this, or send me an email and let me know where you're sabotaging yourself with these beliefs. We don't have to unpack where they're all coming from. That's not, we don't have to do all of that, but we certainly need to look at what can we change today to expand your practice energetically so that it can start attracting the right people in a way that feels really natural and organic and aligned for you. Okay, so there's that. And if you get stuck with that, then head over to the masterclass on Saturday. The details for that are in the show notes. Hit pause now, go and enroll. It's only $47. Fantastic investment. Like, you're going to make it back with your first client. Come on. And it's a tax deduction, obviously. And who knows, you might even be able to count it towards your PD, depending on which membership organization you're with. Makes sense, right? If you have any suggestions or feedback on what I should do with this email from Endemol Shine, of course, let me know. I would love your ideas. I have to tell you though, when I saw it was Endemol Shine, part of me was thinking, oh, maybe there's an opportunity here for maths, and I could get in and do some work here, and have a little bit of influence in a really helpful, constructive, positive, soul-aligned way. Not to be, but that's okay. All right, my lovelies. If there's anything else you need, of course, just send me an email or connect with me on Messenger. You can join the free groups online as well, the ACPPO and the Counsellors Connect group. There was a fantastic email as well that I sent out on Monday that has had quite a positive response about how to deal with negative feedback. So if you want to unpack how you have dealt with negative feedback in your practice, if there's something that's still lingering there and you could kind of feel this trapped emotion in your body when you think about this negative feedback or this negative experience you've had in the practice and you're wanting to release that, of course, let me know. We can book a session and get that happening for you as well. My intention with the podcast this year is to have as many of you that listen be as successful as possible in your beautiful soul-led private practice. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you got stacks of value out of it. If you loved it, share it with a friend or colleague, or just let me know. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.